Welcome everyone, Danny Diamond here. You're in the Diamond Mine. Cheers to you. Okay, very excited to get in today's subject. There's been a little bit of a lull of activity lately from the channel. I think it's going to pick back up soon, but it's been a very wonderful but hectic July. But shout out to my family. They are here in town, but I'm squeezing in this video. A lot of people know that I'm in, I've been involved in Rush tribute bands for a long, long time, since 1994 off and on. And they've asked me, well, where's Rush fall in all these lists that you make? Well, today is the day we're going to get into that. We're going to do a Listomania. This is my top 10 ranking of my favorite power trios of all time. So we're going to start at number 10 and work our way up to number 1. There's a little bit of a cheat in here. We'll get into that. I'm going to give an honorable mention to Muse, M-U-S-E. They're a band that I'm still exploring, but I do like them a lot. A guitar student of mine from a few years ago turned me on to them. But we're going to go ahead and jump in here to the official list. And so kicking things off at number 10, this is a little bit of a divisive choice. I know that there's a lot of my musician friends that don't care for this band, but they're an acquired taste. But I find them both weird and wonderful. I'm going to start the list off with Primus. Now, this is the album Sailing the Seas of Cheese. My first band around 1991-92. Those are the years that we were together. The other guitarist in the band, 3 of the 4 of us lived in a house together, and his room was right next to mine. And he had this album, played it a good bit, and before you knew it, it rubbed off on me like a fungus, and I've had the disease ever since. Seriously though, Primus, for all their weirdness, the musicianship is incredible, and I think they're a lot of fun and really very clever. So this is a fantastic record from, in my opinion, a great band. So kicking things off, Primus. Next up at number 9, we have Zebra. Now Zebra, I first became aware of them when they came out in the early 80s, and then forgot about them for the longest time, and it was the, I'd say, 2009 Dream Theater release that reminded me of these guys. Black Clouds and Silver Linings was the Dream Theater album that was the last album with Mike Portnoy before he left the band, and they did a bonus CD, as they often do with their deluxe editions, and there was a cover of one of the songs from this Zebra debut. And that sort of reignited my interest in this phenomenal band with ties to the New Orleans area, and the really, really unbelievable talents of lead guitarist and lead vocalist Randy Jackson. So Zebra, check them out. You'll be glad you did. At number 8, now I vacillated on which album to show for these guys. I did land on the album that first made me aware of them, Dookie by Green Day. You could not escape this album when it came out in the early to mid-90s. And my 90s era band, Elixir Fix, did a cover off of this record. Really enjoyed this stuff, but it really, I thought about showing 2004's American Idiot as the album that really turned me into a huge fan. But this did kind of start things off for me, so I landed here. Great live band. I've only seen them once, but I was really blown away with, there's sort of a lot more musical styles covered in that show than I had expected. So, Green Day. Next up, we're going to go with what, in my opinion, is the second best power trio of all time to hail from Canada, Triumph. And I've got to give a shout out to Tim Clements, and my buddy Tim Clements, and his older brother Kevin. This was right around the time that I did get into Rush, so it would have been, 82 in there somewhere. Kevin had this record, and 82, 83, somewhere in there. And I've been into these guys ever since. Phenomenal band. And another kind of, like Zebra, you've got a lead singer, lead guitarist who's phenomenal with his vocals and his guitar playing. So, Triumph. Next up, I noticed that there's a lot of compilations here in this list. And this is the first of them. Grand Funk Railroad, Greatest Hits. This was a 2004 collection. Of course, I was aware of them prior to this, but this might be my favorite thing to listen to when I'm in the mood for Grand Funk. So, really urge you to check this out. Classic songs performed with just a ton of passion. Another compilation, of course, I know the albums that this was culled from, but in the early 80s, when I first was getting introduced to Jimmy, this was the vehicle. Smash hits. The guitar world owes an infinite, unpayable debt to this man. This is a great set to dip your toe in the Jimi Hendrix waters. Okay. Next up, okay, at number 4, I'm going to put The Police, Zenyatta Mondatta. I can remember being very young, being at the pool in summertime, and someone put da-do-do-do, da-da-da-da on the jukebox, and they'd also play Don't Stand So Close to Me off this record. I've been a fan ever since. Of course, this was right smack dab in the middle of their too short, in my opinion, 5-album career. The Police at number 4. Number 3, I'm going to have to go with one of the very first supergroups in rock, Cream. Eric Clapton, Jack Bruce, Ginger Baker. Amazing songwriting. Eric and Jack would do a great job of splitting up the lead vocals, sometimes within the same song. You had a very unique, groundbreaking drumming style from Ginger Baker. Jack Bruce, just a font of talent, both from a vocal and bass playing perspective. And then Clapton with just some of the world's most iconic blues rock bass playing ever. Now, number 2 is a bit of a cheat for me. I can't pick between these two, so I've got 2 Texan trios tied at number 2. So ZZ Top is one of them, and the album that introduced me to the band, I got this, my first order when I was 13 years old from Columbia Record and Tape Club, where you send off your penny and get 13 albums in return. One of the cassettes I got was El Loco. This was the album right before Eliminator, which made them superstars. This is often unfairly overlooked, in my opinion. Still one of my favorite albums from the catalog. But such a great band. Billy Gibbons is a top-drawer guitar player, in my opinion. Kind of a protege of sorts in Jimi Hendrix, if you're to believe certain stories. Fabulous band, great songs. Another case where the guitarist and the bass player do a wonderful job of splitting the lead vocals up. Another Texas band where the bass player and lead guitarist do a great job of splitting the lead vocals, even though Doug does more than Ty. King's X. To know this band is to love this band. Absolute epitome of musicians. And this record is fantastic. It's their second album, Gretchen Goes to Nebraska. I have seen this band live more than any other band. I've lost track of how many times I've seen them live. I've lost track of how many times I've met them, and they are beautiful people, in addition to being just creme de la creme of musicians. And I used to describe their style as the Beatles meets Metallica. I'm not sure how accurate that really is, but they have just such a unique sound. Unbelievable 3-part vocal harmonies. A lot of heavy drop D and sometimes even lower than that riffage. King's X, nothing like it. But at number 1, of course, has to be, always will be, Rush. Signals is the album that introduced me to the band. It's still top 5 for me. I'll do a ranking of all of these bands eventually. I've already put a text ranking out there on my Facebook of Rush, but I'm going to do a video very soon, probably next month, because I like to recognize Alex Lifeson's birthday, which is just a few days before mine. So be looking for a lot of Rush-oriented stuff on the channel in August. But so just to recap, we've got Rush at number 1, a tie between King's X and ZZ Top at number 2, Cream at number 3, The Police at number 4, Jimi Hendrix Experience at number 5, Grand Funk Railroad at number 6, Triumph at number 7, Green Day at number 8, Zebra at number 9, and Primus at number 10. Okay, so 11 bands with my little cheat tie for number 2 in just right under 11 minutes. So as always, thanks for watching. Please take a moment to subscribe if you haven't already. And until you see me again, please be well, enjoy life, and come back to the mine soon and often. Cheers. Have a great Saturday.